Welcome to Lift Your Leg. This is Monique Anstey from the Naughty Dog in Victoria, BC, author of As a Dog Thinketh.
And Jill Brown from Calgary, Alberta, the Bag Lady.
Tonight we are talking about presents, as in presents in the handler.
Not as in the presents Monique buys me, because I'm her friend.
Which are many, but it's been a while.
True.
Way to get me off topic already. I've only just started and I'm already off topic. Thanks, Jilly. Why is it that certain people can take a dog and that dog behaves for them, and then other people, no matter how much they know, can't get any dogs to behave for them? That's what we're discussing tonight.
All right.
Start us off, Jilly.
No. I'm just sitting here thinking about how many times somebody else takes my dogs and they're so well behaved.
There might be something in that, Jill. Tonight you might learn why.
There you go.
So presents, what is it? Good God, it's like I just asked her a question in a high school class. She went silent. What does it look like?
You're leading this parade.
All right.
I'm drawing a blank here.
What is it? What is presence? To me, it's leadership. It's unspoken leadership. Like when you look at certain people, if you're looking around a cocktail party, you can tell the people there that have presence and the people there that don't. And there's certain people that when they say something, others listen. And there's other people that never shut up and you just try and get away from them. Or it might be somebody walks in the room and everyone looks at them. Those are the people that have presence. And they're not the loudmouths in the room. But there's something about them that draws your attention and gets your ears listening to them if they speak.
Do you think this is something that people just have, or can they learn to have it, or what?
That's a very good question. I think there are components of it that can be mimicked and copied until they start to become more real. And I don't think there are many kids that have presence. I think it's learned through life experience. So I think it can be. It's a really good question, Jill.
I think part of it comes just from a base personality. Like I think you're people that are inherently quiet or shy aren't going to have it. That's just not in their nature.
I was very shy.
Yeah, but was
right. But I changed.
Yeah.
I think it's something probably feel in timing. You need to have a little bit of it, and then from there it grows with skill set, or can get crushed with life experiences. So there's definitely a component of socialization to this, of it being built or diminished. But as I look at all the top dog handlers or the dog handlers that I admire, they all have presence. And I think there are ways to break it down of what I see in them. And then I think presence comes with confidence. But it can also be like, there's one lady I train with, and when I watch her with a pet dog, she has super presence. And then I watch her with her competition dog, and she does not have that same presence because this isn't her ballpark. She's not as confident in competition obedience, and it shows. But give her a pet dog, and she's very comfortable and knows what to do. And it's calm and natural for her. So it's when we're talking about people and being leaders and people that have presence, I'm talking about it in the context of life. But for the purpose of this podcast, you only need to have presence in the context of dogs. So
really then, like, presence and confidence can be interchanged.
correct. I think so, yes. But
Yeah.
yes, I'm going to say yes. But there's a lot of people that have false confidence.
Yes, absolutely.
So maybe not. But
So
in theory, what you're saying with confidence is correct.
yeah,
But I think there are exceptions to that rule.
I guess if you have presidents, if you have presence,
Drink up, Jill.
No.
It's because she has nothing in her hand. She needs to have something.
I don't have anything in my hand. If you have presence, you have confidence. If you have confidence, you don't necessarily have presence.
Yes, I think so.
Because, like you said, your confidence can be a fake confidence where you think you know everything where really you don't, and your dogs are going to laugh at you.
I'm also going to say, I think like you with your Golden Retriever girls, you're very confident.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be on the top of my list for presence.
With my girls?
Yeah. You don't have presence. But you also don't need it with your girls. I'll ask Johnny. Let's ask Johnny if Jill has presence.
Johnny listens to me now. He didn't when he was a young, horny male.
When he was a young leg humper.
Exactly. Leg
and Jill
nothing.
was his target.
Yeah.
But it can be learned. So I think you found your way with Johnny.
Yes. I think also with my girls, it's not necessary. I haven't really.
Exactly.
I haven't had
a breed.
Yeah. I haven't had a breed. There are a lot of breeds I admire and would love to have, but I know that they would be a menace in my hands.
I cannot wait for you to meet Fika.
So you can laugh at me as she runs all over me?
She will, but it's enjoyable because she's not a menace. She's as naughty as all get out, but it's really enjoyable because she isn't dangerous in any way.
Mm-hmm.
I think you will really, really like Fika. And I'm saying that because I was thinking to your corgi that you want.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed because it will be a menace to society.
Because it will, quote, eat me alive, is what I was told.
But in the case of young Fika, I think you would find her very gratifying. I think she's everything you want in a corgi without the menace part. But let's not talk about Fika. So presence, back to it. I would say you do not have presence, but I would call you confident with your dogs. But attached to that, you also have the right breed for you.
I was going to say if I had a stronger breed, I like you said would learn to have presence because I would need it.
Yes. But right now you don't need it.
Yeah.
And I think that applies to me too. I think Reggie taught me presence. So prior to Reggie, I had Basil, my Tavern, and I had Neville, my German Shepherd. But none of them prepared me for Reggie. And Reggie taught me presence. And if we want to, and I've been working with dogs with issues too, and I still didn't have presence. And then I think my next dog after Reggie was Pippa. And I think coming off of Reggie and onto a sweet little broken border collie girl was probably very difficult for Pippa to receive that same person.
Yeah. Who had all of this strong dog presence.
Yeah, I was probably quite terrifying for Pippa. What does presence look like? I think, so the things that Reggie taught me, he taught me amazing body awareness. So I am aware of my hands. I'm aware of any hand movement, foot movement, bending. Yeah, I'm aware of all of my body parts when I'm interacting with a dog now. And that was huge for Reggie, huge.
And explain that. Why?
There's so many different reasons why. And I'm going to pick on someone that's in my immediate circle, but we will leave them unnamed. Actually, this is a lot of my students. It's not just one. Something goes wrong with their dog that they're working with, and they start having excessive foot movement, the people trying to fix their dog. So there was one group class, we're working on stand for examinations. So we're trying to teach these dogs to stand still. So the dog would move forwards, which they're not supposed to be doing. So the owners would then move their feet and the dog's feet to reset up the dog. So the dog moved, which we don't want. So they then moved it 10 times more to make it be still. And I'm looking at them all. What on earth are you guys doing? Isn't it stillness that you're wanting? So stand fucking still. If you want your dog to be still, maybe you should stand still.
Yeah.
And they couldn't understand what I was trying to say. Like, none of them could grasp this concept. So every time their dog moved, they moved their dog way more to make it be still. Like, they had to almost take it in a circle to make it stand again. Like, it made no sense to the dog or me. But none of them were aware of it because they were unsure of the exercise.
Yeah.
And I think where we're unsure of something, we start moving too much.
Yeah. Yeah, which I guess then says not to try teaching an exercise until you truly understand it, or it's going to take you 4 times as long.
Or if you don't understand it, stand still and find out the details you're missing.
Yeah.
You don't have to move your feet 38 times to then reset up your dog. Like, don't move your feet, reset up your dog.
Yeah.
So that's a foot movement. It's all about who moves whose feet when. The one in control should probably be the one leading the movement and ending the movement. And that goes to pet dogs, that goes to working dogs. It's that we should be influencing our dog's movement, but in a thoughtful manner, not in a frantic way because an error was made and then we don't know how to fix it. So have the ability to stand still. That's one of the things. The next thing that Reggie taught me was to be super aware of my hands.
And why?
He'd bite it.
I was just going to say, because you didn't want them in his mouth or what?
If I miss ADHD, so I move a lot. And Reggie fixed that for me in a couple of days. Oh, okay, now I can stand still at age 40, or however old I was. If I moved too much and got too frantic, he would just come unglued. And literally, it was like a couple of days of, oh, I can be calm now. Thank you, dog. So for Mr. Reggie, if he did something I didn't like, it would be, what was that? Then I would point. I would slowly bring my hand up and point to him and then tell him off. It was just a very deliberate point at him, which followed up my verbal. My hands lead the way. If I ask him to do something, I'm going to ask him. Then I'm going to show him with my hand what I want. And then my hands go back to where they belong. Like, my hands are very clear. Whereas I think a lot of people have very scrambled hands.
Yes, definitely.
The hands are just doing their own thing and the people have no idea what they're doing. So can you still your hands, but yet use them to give information to a dog in a calm and thoughtful way? Then other things in presence, bending. Are you aware of your weight balance? Are you aware of the impact your body is having on a dog? And that isn't necessarily presence, but Reggie again taught me to stand tall. I imagined I had a string like pulling my head upwards, but not with my chin going up to the sky. Like, my chin was still tucked in, but I would try and stand taller, like I had a string on top of my head,
Mm-hmm.
and shoulders back to open up my airways so I wasn't breathing faster, and just using the most of my 5'2".
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the other super important thing in all of this is having pauses. So if I would be telling him off, it would be like, A. Then I would get my hand out, I'd point at him, there'd be a pause, I would breathe, and then I would continue on. And it's the impact is in that pause. Or I present a toy, I hold my breath, I don't say a word, and then whip it away and then laugh at my dog. It's all in the pauses.
I think a lot of it comes down to thinking before doing. Like with you're saying the frantic hands. A lot of times
Yes.
that's people not really knowing what they're doing, but they feel like they should be doing something. And if you
Yes.
have the ability to stop and think about what you want to do before you do it.
But I think it depends on the experience level of the handler.
Yeah.
Because we can stop their feet, but then their hands are twitchy.
Mm-hmm.
So the feet are still, but all that movement's now just gone into the twitching fingers.
Yeah.
So we can make them aware of their feet, but then now all of their brain is now focusing on their feet, and there ain't much that's controlling those hands who are out of control at this moment in time. And I think it's all kind of a process. Like first we work on the feet, then we work on the posture, then we work on the hands. I think the hands come last. They at least did for me.
Okay.
Presence again, it's having the ability to be able to change and influence your dog's mood.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
I want to be able to make him be happy, aroused, sad, remorseful, depending on the sin that has been committed.
Yeah.
I want him to be able to be calm, expectant, attentive. Like I want to be able to capture his attention and hold him there in a kind of a pause for a moment or two before I then take him in the direction I want him to go. So it's all of these things about being able to capture our dog's mood or influence our dog's mood to the direction that we want them to be. I've shut Jill up tonight.
No, I'm sitting here thinking back to you saying I don't have presence, and I'm like, I can do all of that stuff with my dogs.
You can. I agree. I agree. There's some things you cannot do.
Yes.
Yes, you can affect their mood. You can get them expectant. You can get them excited. You can get them to pause and then change their mood in the right direction. You cannot get them remorseful, dear Jill.
I disagree. I just don't get them remorseful.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. But again, that's because I have breeds that rarely do I have to. The old girl has been remorseful on more than one occasion when she's made poor decisions.
And I'm thinking of moments of training together and
the times when I should be making Prada remorseful and I don't.
Remorseful is actually the wrong word because that's much too severe because Prada has never done anything remotely bad.
True.
Prada's sins are a little bit cheeky and disobedient is what I would call her at times. But Jill laughs every time, so...
It's true.
You love it. You love it. So that's why you're not doing anything about it. So yeah, you might be right.
I can't help it.
About being right or about laughing?
I can't help about being right.
Oh, dear. So do you think you have presence?
I think I do when I need it. Like I'm thinking about different experiences when I'm working with dogs that aren't mine.
That's what I went to too. If a mean, strong breed ran up to you on your walk, off leash, could you step forward and make it stop?
I have no doubt.
Okay, then you have presence.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's coming down to is, can you influence a dog that you don't know coming at you?
I was just thinking of...
And you are right, because with your own dogs, you don't need it. It would be too much.
I had an example that I'm sure you were involved in, and it's gone. I can't remember what it was. But yes,
I have seen your resource guarding. That certainly was presence there.
There is that.
So you definitely do have moments of it, definitely.
Yeah.
So one thing is, if people have their reactive dogs that they're struggling with, in moments of stress for yourself, the impending dog that's coming upon you, slow movements, if any movements, are what you should be aiming for. Nothing should be frantic, rushed, fast. Yeah. It all needs to be super calm, deliberate, and slow, if at all.
Which is very hard if you've never been in that situation before.
Yes.
And can think back on it.
Reaching in my pocket for a cookie. If I need a dog to be calm and I'm reaching in my pocket, I reach in slow.
Yeah.
It's not this quick grab.
You are very methodical when you're doing things like that. It just made me think of when you're working your sheep, and it looks to me like you've just changed your mind. And I'm like, oh God, what's she thinking now? But you've just had to make the sheep think that you're thinking of something else to get to where you want with them, if you're moving position. But oftentimes I'm like, she's just totally forgotten what she was doing.
I might have, Jill.
You might have.
Thanks for the credit.
but yeah, you slowed down enough to make me think, back on task. Let's get back on task.
And then the other thing, in times of stress, so a dog running at you, less words mean more.
Yeah.
Stop the verbal diarrhea. Like, one word, pause. Give an instruction, pause. Don't start praising. I'm not saying praise might be worthy, but even in that moment, my praise is going to be driver instructor voice of good boy. The same as turn left. It's just very instructional. There's no emotion behind it. So less words and be very much in control of your voice. So slow movements, methodical movements, less words. Who moves whose feet when? So stand still is probably your best thing to do. Or if you do need to move, have it very controlled, slow, methodical. And in those moments of movement like that, I tend to, if I was riding a horse, we would say I'm dropping my seat, like I drop my bum, so I'm heavy below. I change my center of gravity.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep, totally.
So my legs are heavy when I'm walking if I need to control a dog. If shit hits the fan, I drop my seat, my legs are heavy.
Yeah, you're a little more grounded.
Yes.
Physically.
Yes.
No.
Yes. We talked about this topic way back when we were beginners at this podcast game. We're still beginners, but We still now we have at least a year and a half behind us.
Yeah, we're a year and a half old.
Yes. We had said about leadership with dogs, it's not requiring dogs to be your friend. So if a strange dog's running at me, in no way do I care if that dog doesn't like me or anything else. It's just doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
Dogs don't have to like me. Now, if I'm working with them, they do, because I need to have a relationship with them. Yeah. Unless they're dead set against me, and then it'll come with time, and I know that. But if it's some stranger's dog, I don't need them to like me. I'm not going to spend time becoming their friend in a private lesson. Anything like that.
No.
It's more important that I'm able to give the information to that person than be their dog's friend.
Yeah. Which is that part of it is very important to most people. If they're working with an instructor, they want their dog to be their friend. And yes. It's hard to get them past that.
Yes. Your dog doesn't need to like me. And if he likes me, he's probably going to defer to me because of my presence. So you're almost better off with me being this weird stranger walking beside you.
Yeah. Yep.
Any comments so far, Jill?
Nope.
Thanks. Thanks for the input.
You're doing a wonderful job all on your own.
So if we're talking about who's a handler that has presence that you greatly admire?
Myself?
Yep. Just say a name.
Pauline.
Okay. So how does Pauline show presence?
Everything you just described. She's always like
Pauline
physically.
Baldwin, by the way, for everyone. It's Pauline Baldwin who lives in Calgary, Alberta.
Yeah. Just her physical presence. She's tiny. She's not much bigger than you. But she is upright. She looks confident. There's no
very
fluff.
Deliberate.
There's
deliberate
no fluff
in her
with
movements.
What she does. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's
purposeful.
Yes. And something that when you said, "Do you have anything to offer?" and I said no, this was going through my head. I've been working signals with one of my dogs right now. And in the past, my signals have always had a lot of fluff behind them.
Yeah.
Like you're really trying to hit the sky with your drop signal, or you're really pushing them back with your sit signal.
Yeah.
And I thought, it was sadly an epiphany just the other day. I'm like, why? All they need to do is see my signal. It doesn't need to look like I'm doing anything excessive to get that response from them. I still expect it quickly. Now I've got signals where it looks like I'm very relaxed. I'm not doing anything excessive or extreme with them. And I have beautiful signals. And I'm thinking of all of the people I know that have that presence. And that's what I see with them. Mm-hmm. Everything is very deliberate. Mm-hmm. But the dogs are doing what they're being asked to do beautifully. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when you see all of that extra fluff, the dogs are like, nah, no. It either just goes over their head, or they just completely zone out, or they avoid.
Do their work. Yeah, we can't do their work for them.
Yeah. And giving a drop signal so that your heels actually come up off the ground when you give it isn't going to make it happen if they're not going to do their drop signal. But the people that I've watched that truly have presence, their commands and their signals are just very methodical. This is what we're doing. It's not that their dogs are boring, because they aren't.
Anne Paul is an amazing handler, and she actually reminds me of Pauline in her posture and her movement.
Yeah.
Like, they're both very upright and brisk in their movement, I want to say. And then I think of Peter Sherk, who's been one of my mentors that has so much presence, like so much presence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever met anyone with as much presence as Peter. And when you see Peter healing with his dogs, I have to be careful how I say this now because it's going to sound rude. But I see Anne and I see Pauline, and they're very brisk and upright and kind of like they're moving. They're not rushing, but they're moving with purpose.
Yep.
When you see Peter, sometimes it just looks like he's slogging down a field in Wellington boots.
Interesting.
And I could think of another handler in my sport who also has a lot of presence. And I recently defined him as he looks like he's shopping in a farmer's market for a cucumber when he's healing with his dog in bite work. He's just so chill and relaxed and and his dog's about to lose it and leave him, and he's just so chill as he goes. But I think it's a completely different sports there. Like our dogs are naturally bringing that drive and power. So in our sport, the good handlers look like they're on a coffee break. Whereas in the sport of obedience, the dogs aren't bringing that same level of madness.
Yeah.
Therefore, the handlers can bring some of that and the dogs take it in.
I remember when I first started watching your videos of you training with Reggie, and I couldn't figure out why you were so angry. I'm like, can you not crack a smile? Like, it just seemed to me to be so not enjoyable. But like you said, you had all the drive at the end of your, not the end of your leash, but beside you. You didn't have to be bringing any of that in.
And I think there's different emotions, right? Like Reggie brought power, and like his work was serious. Like it was powerful. It was deliberate. And he loved his work, but would we have defined him happy as he worked? No.
No, I wouldn't have put him happy. Yeah, he was enjoying what he was doing.
He loved his work.
But it wasn't happy. It was the power and the fight.
It was the fight. He was more like a lawyer in a trial courtroom.
See, I was going to say he was more like comparing a UFC fighter with a gymnast.
Yeah.
Or a dancer. Like there's joy and there's two completely different levels of enjoyment in what's being done.
Pippa needs happy and light.
Yeah.
Fika, I can't smile for her either. Now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. I retrieved today with Fika, and I did healing with Fika. So we probably worked for about 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. I can honestly say I didn't smile once, except when I fell over and she bit my finger. And then in all of that time, she did not get a single reward. So I healed with her, and her reward is now healing. Like she loves healing, loves it. So we healed. I did some signals, and then I threw her dumbbell far, far, far away, and the fat, stout little creature galloped away and couldn't see where it was because we were in a field outside. She's not very tall, so she doesn't have that advantage. So with all of her might, she bit a mouthful of grass that she thought was her dumbbell. Realized it was the wrong thing, found her target, ran to it, grabbed it, turned, ran to Sheila thinking Sheila was me, then realized it wasn't, and then booked it. And I looked behind me, and this little thing was running as fast as she could, bless her heart. So that was Fika today. But I'm going to say in Fika, there's no happy there. There's power. There's anger. There's intensity. Like, Yeah, I need to send you a video now so you can see the difference in Fika.
Yeah.
I think you'll laugh. You're going to laugh when you see her. She's hilarious. But yeah, it's serious now. Like, it's very serious work. And there's no rewards. She just wants to heal and work.
Nice.
And the other day, it's fascinating. I find her fascinating. I was doing the broad jump, and I wanted to work on the sit part of it before I send. So I rewarded her with a piece of food, and that food completely took her out of drive. She started lip licking, looking away, and all the rest of it. Isn't that fascinating?
Interesting.
I know. And then I didn't clue on that quick, like what the food had done. So I sent her over the broad jump. She hit it like a trampoline once again, realized my error, got her back in drive, and then she did 2 clear ones. Isn't that fascinating? Like a piece of food, a reward.
Yeah.
That she had to chase. I didn't just hand it to her and place it on her tongue. Like, I threw it at her, so she had to break position, go get it, come back in, bark, and then I had lip licking, looking away, worry, and failure of the exercise.
Interesting.
But getting rid of that reward and just having her working for me, and she's doing it. I hate to say this out loud, like I'm jinxing myself, but in the case of Fika, I haven't had her terribly long, and my next competition is coming up awfully soon. So who knows if she's ready to go in the ring, because normally I'd be doing this for a year. But whatever, we'll find out.
Yeah.
If you don't take risks, you'll never get ahead. So
it's true.
Okay, so we were talking about a handler you admire that has presence, Pauline. What else does Pauline have as traits? What else do you see in her? What about Pauline with like big guilty Newfie?
Pauline is very driven. Like, she is
determined.
When she's going to do something, she does it. She doesn't give up. Like, she has titled multiple Newfoundlands and multiple high-end trials.
Yes.
With these dogs that she has Goldens and Shelties as well, but
her Newfies look like a high-powered Golden. Like, the way her Newfies work is a sight to behold. She's a phenomenal trainer. She really is.
Yep. Yeah. She can read dogs. She doesn't.
I wonder if she listens to our podcast.
I don't know. She should.
We're gossiping about her, except we're saying nice things.
She's getting a big pat on the back right now. Yeah, I don't know. She can communicate with her dogs. She's determined. She's driven. And she's Pauline, very clear. Like, she's...
Yes. When she draws a line in the sand, that's her line. There is no crossing it.
Yeah.
You will never see her say, I don't know what to do. It's not working.
Yeah. No, she'll just find another way until it's clear to her dog.
Yep. And I think that's the key right there, right? If you have presence, you just don't allow certain things to happen. You won't know how to stop them, but you'll find out in those moments how to stop them.
Yep. Yep. You have chewing sounds behind you. This whole time I've been listening to chewing.
Harry, it's only for podcasts he comes up with this ball. The rest of the time he sucks on his unicorn. Hang on, let me take it. I did listen to it in one podcast I was editing, the chewing sounds.
Yes.
Go get your unicorn. Go on, go. Get your unicorn. This is the culprit. Get your unicorn. Come on. Go, get it. Harry, get this. Whoa. White unicorn is now being taken.
He says, I don't want the unicorn.
He doesn't, but he does because I'm holding on to it. If you see me whiz across the floor on my chair on wheels, you know what happened to me. Handler I greatly admire with immense presence is Peter Sherrick. And what do I see in Peter? Amazingly passionate in every emotion that he shows. And incredibly in control of all of his emotions. So if he's working with a dog, everything he does is so intense, whatever way it might be. Like, he's the happiest man I know. He's the funnest man I know. He's the most intense man I know. Like, he's just extreme at everything he does, and he's able to get those same extremes out of his dog.
Nice.
And I would say with Peter, I've never seen Peter angry. But I know I don't want to. Like, he's very controlled, but there's I think I could say the same for other men in my lives through the year, like my dad. You never needed to see them angry to know that you didn't want them angry.
Yeah.
But what is it that we see?
Presence.
Yeah, presence. That's exactly it.
Yep.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
That's that presence.
Yep.
Because Peter's so charming and agreeable and kind. He's a wonderful man. But I know I don't want to see him angry.
Yeah.
And that is the presence. So is that what presence is?
How define that based on that?
When we were just talking there, we both said, and that's the presence. You've never seen the anger, but you don't want to see it.
Yeah. And I think that's, I was going to say, being able to be the extreme of everything.
Yes. Ah, that's the tell.
But having the control.
Yes. But very fair. He's a very fair man.
Yeah.
A very clear teacher.
I just have thoughts running through my head about that.
So another woman with immense presence is Mia Skogstad.
Okay.
Who is so aware of all of her voices, aware of her body, aware of her posture, so aware of her posture. She used to be a dancer, ballet dancer.
Huh.
And it shows, I think, in how she carries herself. And Mia's another one. Never seen her angry. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think we all know what's there. Just because she's so determined. Like Pauline, she's so determined. Yeah. When she sets her mind to it, she's going to get it done. Yeah. Don't get in her way.
And those people rarely have to get angry.
Yes.
People know not to push it. Dogs know not to push it. Like, it's just the presence that they have, that they can get things done without having to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, who's another one with presence in your life? Or we can go another way here, and we'll leave names out of this part. Who's somebody that you train with that has no presence, and what does that look like? Leave names out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's one to get yourself into trouble if you throw names in there.
I know, right?
But it's funny because you just spoke of Peter and being extreme in all of his emotions. He can be the funnest, the happiest, the angriest, which you've never seen and you don't want to. But people who don't have presence have the same abilities, but I don't think it's genuine. The anger,
Thank you.
I think the anger, I think, is genuine if it comes out, and it comes out often.
Yeah.
But people without presence, it's an act.
Yes, I agree. This came up recently. So again, names unmentioned. But it's a person lacking presence. And one of the things she does is she tries to be so agreeable to everyone around her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's that level of being so agreeable, making sure you don't offend anyone. Everyone must like you. Always doubting yourself about whether you understood it. All of that, there's a complete lack of presence, and dogs pick up on that.
Yeah.
And this person's dog is picking up on that, even though in training context, this is the job you need to do here, 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 and here. And I think the training context is going okay, but then a life curveball will get thrown at her and she doesn't know how to deal with it. And the dog's a bit nasty. But that's coming back to all of that triple guessing every decision you make.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that is just experience. Although I also have seen people who have trained a whole lot of dogs and still have zero presence. And no ability to know whether or not what they're doing is right. Like you said, triple guessing. It's funny because the ones without presence, we could describe 100 different ways.
Yes.
The people with presence, I think, are very similar in description.
Yes. I think of another man with presence, not a dog person, but someone you know, Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a dog lady's husband. And I'm going to say a quiet man, a personable man. What is said is worth listening to.
Yep.
There's never just foolish chatter.
Nope. Doesn't have to put forth an effort to have people look or listen.
Yes.
When he speaks or does something, people want to hear what he has to say. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a good man.
Yeah, 100%.
A very fair, good, kind man.
Yeah.
But again, I wouldn't fuck with him.
No, I wouldn't want him angry at me. Nope.
And I've never seen that side of him at all,
No,
but
me
I
neither.
wouldn't want him angry. I know I was scared of him when I was much, much younger.
Really?
And nothing had ever happened. It was just his presence. Yeah.
Huh.
I was 18 and he was a bit terrifying.
I've never seen that part of him, but I don't think I met him until
he
I was
wasn't.
older.
It's just I was young.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You should have been scared of me when you were that young.
With your blue tongue?
No. That was when we became friends.
That was the process of us becoming friends.
Oh my God.
Does presence get lost with aging?
I think it depends on the person.
I agree.
Yeah. Some people, yes.
I was thinking that because I think if age gives you physical disabilities which cause you doubt, then probably some of your presence may go with that. Maybe not, though.
Yeah, I'm sure with some people it does. Others, I don't think so.
Yeah. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Bridget has presence, And I think Bridget fits the theme more of people in my sport. Bridget Carlson.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree there.
Because she's not the busy, the brisk. She's much more chill.
Yeah. There's not all the fluff. And she's hit so many different dog sports and succeeded in all of them. That
she will not be successful in the instinct sports without a form of presence. Yeah. So in the sport of IGP and field trials, she needs presence.
Yeah.
And clearly she has it because she's done amazingly well in both of those sports.
Yeah. And we won't even touch on obedience because she's been doing that forever and has been successful with every dog she's put her hands on.
Whatever she touches, she turns it into a champion.
Yep.
An amazing trainer. And again, this is the best part of dogs. There's so many people that are so good.
Yeah.
My one mentor in the mainland has amazing presence. She's so kind. She's so generous. She's clear in communication. She's fair. She says what she means. She doesn't say stuff that she doesn't mean.
Yeah.
And don't mess with her again. but with all of these people we're saying this about, it's not that you ever see that side to them. You know it's there, so you don't test it.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever seen that side to her because she's so kind and nice and sociable.
Because they rarely need to show that side. It's like a truly dominant dog.
It's a dominant dog. Thank you.
They just don't even have to show that they're dominant because everyone just knows it.
Thank you. You just nailed it right there.
Yeah.
So a person with presence is a dominant dog. And all the other dogs know it, so no one messes with them.
Yeah.
Christina once laughed at me and told me I showed my age by saying this. But it's Aslan from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
I watched it so many years ago.
You can't remember it?
No.
Oh, Jill, it's one of my favorites. Go get the audiobook. It'll still make you cry.
I will. That will be one I'll listen to while working next week. Or not working next week.
Or not working. Come to Victoria instead.
Depending on how the times pass, yeah. God.
Oh, dear. But Aslan was another dominant one, as in kind, helped everyone trusted him, but he was the one you wanted on your side if times were going bad.
Yeah.
And you nailed it with the dominant dog. And a dominant dog is Johnny. Is not the one that's causing trouble.
Yeah.
They can take shit being flung at them and they just look at the person. Like when I had my one young board and trained German Shepherd here, that was too much for Pippa and Fika. Johnny just looked at that dog and leant forwards. He didn't even step towards the dog. He leant his weight forwards towards that dog. And that young shepherd screamed and ran. He never even dropped his log out his mouth. He just looked at this dog and leant in his direction.
Yep.
And this young punk went screaming away. That's presence right there. Is if you have that presence, you don't need to act angry and threaten and call bluffs all the time. You just look and people know and say, oh shit, I went too far. Yep. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
that's what it is. So for all of you people struggling with your reactive dogs, this is the podcast you need to be listening to and learning from and starting to copy some of the stuff we've said here, because this is what it's all about, to stop your dogs from reacting. Is that presence within you. And you don't have to become a dominant dog, but you have to come strong enough, stronger than your dog, whatever your dog may be. So hopefully, if you're not the strongest person in the world, your dog is something like a Papillon or Chihuahua or Golden Retriever. And if you are very strong in life, but just easygoing with your dog, maybe you have a little bit more of a stronger breed. Hopefully you have the right breed for you. That it's within your reach to find this level of presence that you need to have with your dog.
Yep.
Stop writing. I can hear you. Your pen clicks.
Sorry. I'm just Googling, or not Googling. What's the word called when you just write little things?
Doodling.
Doodling.
Doodling, Googling, you nutter. That's funny. All right. Thank you, Jill. I think this has been good.
Good. On that.
Good night, Jill. Thank you.
That, I will talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good night, Jill.
See you
Bye.
next Tuesday. Ciao. Bye.